All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast, NBA podcast. My name is Keith, here once again with my buddies Chuck and John. In the flesh, at the table, in the same room.
Hey now.
Gentlemen, how's it going?
Better than Tibbs.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember what happens in between the times we record. Tibbs got fired, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Last week, poor
I
guy.
should clarify. I just came from a funeral. There's death all around me. Still better than Tibbs.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks have been a blur.
Chuck has reflective aviator glasses that he refused to take off.
I'm not taking them off.
It's really disconcerting. All I can see myself clearly and the filth of the baby dungeon
That's why he doesn't
your
like
eyes.
them.
It's
not that he can't tell where you're looking. Keith doesn't want to deal with his surroundings, which I am a part of.
Yeah. It's bright down here, and I have a headache.
Chuck, how was Star Wars Virtual Reality in Las Vegas?
I didn't go. Sold out tickets.
Oh, no!
Yeah. I barely did anything in Vegas.
Yeah, how many times did you see Cirque du Soleil?
One.
Good for you.
Did Cirque.
So we have like this group of friends, and they're like supposed to be like really hip DJ type guys. And when they go to Vegas, they don't go to strip clubs. They don't go do anything fun. They take their wives to see Cirque du Soleil over and over.
Well, there's 7 Cirque du Soleils.
There's a lot of them.
So, you know.
Well, you got to see them all.
Well, you know, they're impressive artistic displays.
Is there like a Cirque du Soleil completionist group?
Beatles,
on like Twitter,
Stones,
Facebook?
Probably.
Where they're like, oh yeah, we did all 5 this year.
But you
The Knack. Did you guys go see Cirque du Soleil plays the music of The Knack?
All I saw was the Beatles one. The Beatles one was
You didn't go
good.
see Chris Angel? Carrot Top?
No.
Nothing?
Everybody was out of town first week of January. Apparently, all the
Hakkasan?
resident
What's the club?
Who's more buff, Carrot Top or Nate Duncan?
Carrot Top, without a question. Dude, go on his Instagram. He's shirtless with his fiance or his wife, whatever, and he looks yoked.
Carrot Top or Nate Duncan?
We're talking Duncan or Carrot Top?
Duncan.
Carrot Top is like legitimately frightening.
He's on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like sliced alone human growth hormone. His veins have veins.
Yes.
The vascularity.
Here's the crazy thing. He hasn't wrote one of those prop jokes in like 10 years. He just farms them out.
Really?
Yeah. He's so rich, he doesn't have to
Why do
make
you have
up.
to-
To Nick Swardson?
Oh my God,
wait.
he looks so fat. He has a Netflix special. Johnny makes your chin look like.
I don't have chin singular anymore.
I thought, well, Vegas acts, I assume they do the same thing every night for years. Right? I mean, Carrot Top is not supposed to write new material during
He's
his...
a prop comic, so you want like
Don't look
different
down your
props.
nose at them.
No, I mean, but
I know you're a pure... Well, I don't know what the schools of stand-up are. No props, no guitars, no songs.
no stools.
Just got to be honest.
Yeah, bring
Gritty.
You dare to take away the guitar from Dana Carvey? Chopping broccoli.
Well, he's playing the piano.
That's what kind of... We're a prop podcast, Chuck.
Are we? Oh yeah.
Every
Breakfast.
now and then.
Breakfast is.
Well, I mean, when we do like our fake trade call, a game of scones, we're breaking it up. We're not one of those straight. That's why the Dunked On look down on us.
do they?
They're like those. They're like those
exist.
Mark Maron comics. They just speak truth.
Man.
They don't need to hide behind
I'm pretty sure
soundtracks.
I listened to a Dunked On that had a 14-minute ad read on it recently.
That was a Locked On. You were listening to Locked On ads. I made that mistake before.
This was a Dunked On. He talked about chino suits and getting fitted for my wedding.
Oh yeah. Well, you got
For 14 minutes.
You got to add that personal touch on that sales pitch.
And he was just lying in it too. He's like, "Don't go fitted by a tailor. Go to chino. I get a tailor suit. No, Andre,
Honestly,
no."
almost no one uses our SeatGeek code Fast Break
no.
Break
'Cause we get
$20
notified.
off. I think because we don't sell we don't tell a long enough story
about SeatGeek.
SeatGeek.
Can I tell you a long story?
Who
about
uses
SeatGeek?
SeatGeek?
I tried to use it, and it took so long for me to figure it out. I stopped.
You get $20 off.
I get it, but it would.
I wanna-
my $20 was not worth my time.
I want to put my paper money in the scabby hand of a scalper.
You can't even do that anymore
Oh,
because
yeah.
so many NBA events. I know NBA events. There is no physical tickets. There are no paper tickets. You can't even email a PDF to a person. You can't print out a PDF. You have to have a mobile device or get it from the box office. Like you can't have it handed to you by anyone else.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. They're cutting out the StubHubs.
When I was in New York, I was there for a Knicks game watching comedy at Madison Square Garden, and there were hawkers out there selling Knicks tickets.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So.
Knicks, I mean, that's
nowhere to find
Knicks,
them.
that's a secondary market. They don't want to. They're probably taking a cut, but I know it's really hard. It's really hard. If I want to transfer you my Grizzlies tickets, you have to sign up for a Ticketmaster account.
Ugh.
Yeah,
And then
that's how my Preds tickets
and then
are.
You have to send. Yeah, I got to send. Them
I've
to you.
found like a way around it, but it's pretty schleppy, and I would understand why someone would. I can basically take a picture of my ticket,
Yeah,
and people can use it.
Right.
Like it will scan, but nobody wants to pay for a picture.
So what's really funny is the NBA teams and NFL teams like the Titans and as you're talking about the Predators, they tell you, oh, and you can't screenshot your phone. You have to use the Ticketmaster app. That's false.
No, it's not
true. They're reading a barcode.
Right.
It isn't like
magical
there is no
barcode.
some proprietary like magic
Santa Claus
eye
is
that
real.
that goes over the barcode. Anyway, gentlemen, do we have breakfast?
Man, I pretty much gluttoned myself to near death over the holiday.
That's the best part about Vegas, right? Is the food.
Here's the thing.
What holiday are you talking about? It's
The holidays.
okay, just holidays.
The holidays.
Just to get to the high holidays.
Yeah.
Chuck just got back.
I got back
Yeah.
yesterday.
You're like me, still celebrating spring break. It's January. What is it? January 10th.
I've been pretty much traveling since the 19th of December.
You took a college break. You took a college Christmas break.
I took a summer abroad.
Yeah,
I pretty much didn't do anything from late August on, except this.
I just want to know how you facilitate such an endeavor.
We'll talk about it later. You asked me about it on last week's episode, and I will tell you the answer off air.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just travel. I love to travel, but I can empty my bank account by day 3 of any trip. I'm like, where the hell did it all go?
Las Vegas costs $150 an hour to just breathe in.
Just have a good time.
Just to live,
Yeah,
just to
no.
exist.
Yeah.
And $50 for 2 slices of pizza and 2 root beers
no.
at the Venetian.
Oh, you're doing it wrong.
No.
There was they were loaded
No,
slices.
you're doing it wrong.
I think we got
You
garlic.
could do it cheaper than that. There is cheap eats on the Vegas Strip.
See,
Yes.
Keith's like me, or
But I'm
Chuck's
not
like
leaving
me.
the
Where,
casino.
Yeah, Chuck's like me. Like the convenience is king.
Yeah,
That is true.
I want to buy tacos with a margarita machine that has
Yeah. Oh yeah.
a funny shaped drink
A
container.
yard of margarita.
Right, or like the leg from Christmas Story,
Oh yeah.
which I bought.
Oh yeah.
I have a picture. I'll put it up on our Patreon only Slack.
Never
channel.
seen
I was
that
gonna
movie,
say,
but know exactly what you're talking
You know
about.
who the king of that is? That's our power listener, longtime supporter,
Damon?
Damon Rangula.
Is he?
Oh, we had dinner with him.
Oh, yeah.
He sees a guy walking by. Sir, I like one of those too.
Yes.
Can I have one?
He's like that looks nice. Just give
This
us,
is going
give
to
us some of
be
that.
a Damon-nated show.
Oh, that's an exciting.
You going to talk
tease.
about him too? I love him. So we can do a whole episode. Of
My
Damon.
breakfast was once again the cheap, flavorless barbecue of Wits. Once again, going to work.
I'm with you.
I'm telling you, no line. You walk in, it's $4. Okay, that's lunch. I did it. One more meal down. So that's how I broke my
trust
fast
they've
today.
cooked that pork, right?
So I don't know what's happening.
No,
to me.
they have cooked that pork
Forever.
right? Yeah. No, they cooked it. Yes.
I don't
Did they
even
cook it
think
right?
it's
Yeah.
barbecue. It's
Yeah, you
crock
could-
pot meat.
Yeah. It's something.
There's no smoke coming out of that building.
John, did you say your breakfast?
Well, I had wits, so
You had with
Shut up.
Oh, crazy! And he's drinking a Diet Dr Pepper. Now we have
our show's a
tainted
little
liver.
BBC. Our show's a little bit hive mindy. Me and Bird did a Ground Chuck episode,
oh yeah.
and we picked 4 of our favorite forgotten players.
was-
And
you-
before
same, yeah.
before the show, I'm like, "Hey, these are the 4 I got." He's like, "Well, I have 3 of those."
Chuck and I can get on such a ferocious wavelength that it's no wonder that both of us are as unsuccessful as we are.
Yes.
Because our last Ground Chuck, we were struggling for a topic, and we simultaneously texted each other, let's just do our pickle pick'em live on the air at the same time. And it was like, oh man, we're screwed. There's great minds think alike, and then there's just ignoramuses think consecutively.
Yeah.
Well, let's move after our breakfast. Let's go to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong on any previous episode. It is frequently the first time we talk about the NBA. Does anyone have anything they need to apologize for?
No, I'm never wrong, but I think I called Jake Layman a power forward a couple weeks ago.
That's fine.
That's fine.
He can dunk. He can jump really high.
Yeah, and I'm sure I made a multitude of other mistakes.
It's a positionless league now, Chuck.
Yeah, everybody.
I guess he's
Did you-
more
Michael
foodie.
Kidd Gilchrist is playing center sometimes. Don't worry about it.
Did you call Justin Holiday switchy?
I did.
Okay.
Got him.
Well, I did it because of the Roundball Rock podcast,
Oh.
where they jokingly, tongue-in-cheek, when they're doing their slammed on
Slammed on.
parody,
God, so good.
they say switchy all the time. And so
Switchy.
not only did I say switchy, I called Justin Holiday switchy on our show. I called him switchy on 2 other shows upon which I appeared last week.
Pew pew.
So
Shout out Roundbach.
Roundbach roll.
Roundbach roll.
Back.
Those guys are great.
Shout out the aliens for Mars attacks.
My apology. We do this cross off teams, pretty frequently. I'm actually going to uncross off a team,
Kings?
the New Orleans Pelicans.
You can't. That's just to play in the Grizz, man.
No, well, they are
Hey, Mom.
They are 9-2 this season when their starting point guard is healthy, Alfred Payton. So they're 9-2 with Alfred Payton.
Right.
I think they're still in the playoff race.
You want to go deeper?
A little premature. Also, they're getting Nick Mirotic back.
Yeah.
Although when Nick Mirotic is on the court, hasn't been great so far.
Go check out what their stats are just with Julius Randle involved.
Well, so
and Mirotic being back will help that.
Well,
just check that out.
As far as total on-off, Mirotic is much worse than Julius Randle. Julius Randle's like flatline. It doesn't really help if he plays or not. It's mainly when Drew Holiday plays, when Anthony Davis plays, and when Alfred
Payton
Drew
plays,
Holiday,
the net rating is like through the roof.
Yeah.
There have been games where the entire Pelicans team will have a positive defensive rating, and Julius Randle still finds a way.
I saw Mason Ginsberg through that.
Yeah.
Up. I think against the Grizzlies game, where everyone's net rating was unbelievable, except for
He's the worst.
Poor Julius Randle.
But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like getting Mirotic back, it's easy to forget that Mirotic was kind of the reason for the season last year.
Right.
So this is kind of a different team.
And that little
when he comes back.
little Bulls bump that they had last year. Remember when they were good for like 2 weeks?
That was Mirotic.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Well, I mean, I'm still not even giving it to Mirotic. I'm giving it to the haircut, Alfred Payton, who was shooting 80% on free throws this year after the haircut.
Payton's stats are pretty mind-blowing.
Right.
He just switched teams and then became a good basketball player. It's
He cut his hair.
No.
He's no longer having his shot blocked
Reverse
by his
Samson.
own hair,
I think
and his
you're
free throw
right.
percentage went up 10%.
No, yeah.
I honestly,
it's the haircut only.
The Magic should look to recoup salary from the time he played with no.
Sweep his hair into the dustbin.
John, you have anything to make amends for?
So I mentioned power listener Damon Rangula. He and I, for years, have been fighting on the internet about who was better, Steven Adams or Andre Drummond.
One of the earliest Patreon Slack conversations,
was
too.
And I will.
Slack.
I've always just said that, I've always been Team Drummond, but that is just no longer true. Andre Drummond, what would you put? Andre Drummond has one skill left, I would say.
Rebounding.
That's it. And I
real
think he
big
hurts
skill.
you in every other way.
He's
Not free throws. You shouldn't free throws.
He's improved. Yeah. He's improved his terrible skill.
Yes.
2 years ago, I thought the Andre Drummond Steven Adams debate was an incredibly interesting debate,
Right.
which I thought I didn't judge a person for going on either side.
Right.
I was like, I feel like that's a very tricky one.
Yeah.
You have this one guy who looks so physically dominant, and when you watch him, he seems incredibly dominant. You have another guy who puts up underwhelming stats, but you're like, this guy might contribute more to winning,
Well,
is the
now-
argument.
Yeah.
Present day, I look down at you if you think Andre Drummond is still better than Steven Adams. It is not
You are
even
just
close.
you are just wrong. And I've always hated like the people would say like because I would choose Drummond over Adams. I have disliked Steven Adams as a human.
Yeah.
When he got Zebo thrown out of a game 7, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But I've always thought he was a valuable player. But now he's like awesome.
He's awesome.
He's like awesome. He's like offensively awesome. He's just good at every facet of the game. And Andre Drummond is honestly like every time you watch the Pistons We can talk about this for a little bit longer, too.
Oh, yeah, it'll give you a reason to mention Dwayne Casey.
Yes, it does. Every Drummond post-up is a death knell for an offensive possession. Like, it's over. You're not scoring, and the possession is over.
But is there a big man other than, like, Anthony Davis? I don't know. Where, like, dumping it into the post makes sense now.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Steven Adams.
and Joel Embiid.
I've seen Steven Adams. I mean, he's just not polished. He's never going to be a polished offensive player.
No. Not
I don't know. He's got like good up and unders now.
He misses so many bunnies.
Not good.
He misses a lot. I mean,
but
I'm sure
he's just so elite at rebounding.
Right.
Good passer.
And his offensive rebounding, he's just off the charts.
Pick and roll game is ridiculous.
His screens are amazing.
Screens are terrifying.
He set some crazy screens.
And he's also he's also like a brutally dirty player that you want on your team.
Yes.
Yeah, I want him badly on my team.
Like, when he sets a screen, he's not just setting a screen, he is arching his shoulder into your eye socket.
Also, all right, so in Andre Drummond's defense, the pairing with Blake Griffin is not ideal.
Well,
ideal.
We're in luck. We had a listener, Matt Rutkowski at Monte World Peace on Twitter, who writes for some kind of website that people read that I don't.
The Step Back, which we are affiliated.
There you go. I think he also has like a mental health advocacy website.
He's got his own.
Some people read that I don't. Sorry, I still just read like ESPN.com.
Don't read articles
and like Grantland, which doesn't exist.
I go on Tumblr.
But he took the time to write an anti-Dwayne Casey soliloquy for me since I haven't gotten to do it in so long.
and Matt, if you haven't said, he's a Pistons fan.
That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Poor Monte, he's the first listener. No, he wasn't. Damon was first listener to be a guest on the show.
Don't remember. He was on a Ground Chuck.
He was on a Ground Chuck, not the roast.
He hasn't been on a main canonical feed
yet. I love that.
We're a parallel universe.
We have a universe.
Splinterverse. I figured out the problem with the Pistons. It's Dwayne Casey. Sidebar. Chuck and Keith laugh. Maybe Keith groans. One of the two of them point out that you particularly don't like him. I admit I don't like most coaches. Amongst the NBA, it's like trying to pick among any Kevin Smith movie after Dogma. It's all trash. People just think they're good because they don't know any better like I do. I know real good. I am John Burr. Now, I'm not saying they should bring in Tibbs, but they should probably bring in Tibbs. Maybe they can get Bickerstaff for Casey. Fire Bickerstaff, then we can fire Casey. Then the Grizzlies can coach themselves like Matt Rutkowski's CYO basketball team did in 5th grade when their coach was hungover. The problem with Stan Van Gundy wasn't that he didn't push them hard enough. Jim Boylan is the new era of coaches in the NBA, and if Tibbs has proven anything, it's that he can evolve. He can get more strict, more angry, and have a voice more akin to the sound your skull makes after you finally break skin rubbing it against a cheese grater. In conclusion, everything is fine in Detroit if you thought the last 5 seasons were fine, which they weren't. And you're a bleeping bleep hole if you think otherwise. The end. Thanks, Matt.
That was beautiful, Matt.
I didn't have to think. It was great.
Matt's website is tropicalmeow.us, which is a place for fun and other things of that sort. It's a good, easy place to hang out and read enjoyable, fun things.
And I just want to state for the record, Kevin Smith made Jay and Silent Bob Get Irish, the swearing O the Green, which was a TV movie. And
is that real?
Yes. And if you haven't watched it, maybe you should just put a pin in that dogma argument.
Was that straight to Crackle?
There's nothing that makes you feel like your young self was really stupid, like watching an old Kevin Smith movie.
I had a signed copy of the Clerks script.
Yeah.
That is the most on-brand thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Second place being, I found Dogma emotionally moving.
Was it when Alanis Morissette played God?
It was something about when Ben Affleck was talking about God and humanity and him being angry that God gave humanity endless bleeping patience. I thought that was such a beautiful moment, and I rewatched Dogma, and I'm like, this is
I was moved to physical unrest when Alan Rickman reveals his genitalless crotch. I still see that in my mind's eye.
That actually was pretty good. Anyway, all right, so those were our breakfast in bed apologies. Before we get to our steak and eggs best thing, we have a few listener submitted questions from our Patreon supporters. the croissant questionnaire.
Any questions?
Yes. Are you going to finish that croissant?
Knock yourself out.
That croissant. Finish that croissant.
At Feeling Minnesota asks, Keith shrewdly connected the dots and exposed Chandler Parsons as the leaker regarding Shams Garrett Temple Omri Caspi locker room fight report, which makes, in my mind, Fast Break Breakfast the NBA's bona fide podcast leader when it comes to exposing leakers. So in your guys' expert opinions, who was the leaker for the Jimmy Butler disrespectful film session report?
Okay, we got a couple.
We got
a couple things. Who we got to unpack.
We got to unpack.
First of all,
I think the Chandler Parsons thing has already been debunked.
well, so he gave me credit for unpacking the Chandler Parsons as the leak to Shams Charania.
But I love the theory
However,
so much. I'm ready for an Oliver Stone movie.
So
on
I
it.
threw that theory out there, and I had a source confirm to me that the team shared my opinion, which is that actually happened.
I love sources.
Two,
But he wasn't even there.
so two. The problem is
Yeah.
now he's been sent away from the team. He's in Los Angeles, and
Shams is still getting info.
The Dylan Brooks news leaked early.
Yeah.
Which this could have been my worst.
He got the wrong guy.
This could have been my worst thing. The Grizzlies spiraling, losers 3 of 13. Find out Dylan Brooks, one of the only guys on the team with like a okay net rating, like as in above 0. One of the few guys off the bench who's worth anything is out for the year. And then JB Bickerstaff is confronted with this news, and they're like, "Is it true? Is Dylan Brooks out for the year?" And he's like, "The most important thing is we got to find this leak." I'm like, no, the team is
The
terrible.
most important
The most
thing.
important thing is the team is terrible.
The best part of the Dylan, I mean, obviously it's awful. Dylan Brooks got injured, but I saw a headline and it felt like a troll move. It said the headline for the injury was Grizzlies Brooks will miss some time. And I was like, oh God, which one?
They knew what they were doing.
They knew it.
They knew what they were doing.
Marshawn's already been traded and waived, so I guess
Is he
I don't
not
even
on
know
the
what's
team
happened to
anymore?
those guys. Is Wayne Selden gotten to play in Chicago yet?
at least he's still on the team. Marshawn's waived.
Yeah, Marshawn,
did he?
they moved on.
I stopped paying attention to the Grizzlies.
So
Well, all you need to know is that all it took to wake Mark back up was playing his brother. He finally played hard again. 'Cause he was playing his brother.
what is the all right, this leaker. What's this leaker, this Jimmy Butler?
The disrespectful film session report.
Okay, I'm not positive what that is.
So he berated Brett Brown during a film session. You haven't heard about this?
I've heard wafts of
Yeah.
it, but I haven't.
So just like loudly
actual-
berated and
Okay.
like, yeah, made a fool of him.
He wanted a different role in the offense. He wanted more.
Which he should.
More
They should
pick and
roll
roll.
a pick and
More
roll.
pick and roll.
How about some?
Yeah, and he has points and all that stuff.
Don't show your hand in January, Jimmy Butler. It's a long season. Anyway,
I mean, how a pick and roll with MB would be unstoppable.
Steph Curry and the Warriors didn't run pick and roll like that 2015 season when they won the title until the playoffs.
You really
pretty
think
much.
you really think Brett Brown's the Moriarty of NBA crime, huh? I don't know. So I would say, speaking of Moriarty's, Embiid's most likely candidate to me.
I mean,
He's the one who's been a bit pouty about his role as well. Doesn't like standing in the corner. I don't know, but he's kind of in cahoots with Jimmy on this, sort of, because the end would be good for him as well.
There's only one person.
There's one guy who has a podcast and is obsessed with watches and has a terrible sleeve tattoo and seems like a punk.
There's one person who, if you're thinking in like a Machiavellian sense, who could
Fultz?
could be getting his minutes.
well, is
Fultz.
Fultz there with the team? Because my first thought is who is the guy who is not happy with what's going on? Who's the dissatisfied party?
Landry Shamet.
But no, it's
Fultz, Landry Shamet, who set a rookie
26
record
bizoids.
with his number 3.
I mean, it could be Firkin leaking.
Yeah. You got to put a cork in that leak.
Court Maz is playing so much.
You got to cork
lately.
Maz that leak. I'll guess. I guess Embiid too. I think Embiid's.
I think they're going to catch him red-dicked.
I don't know. I'm going with a Firkin leak.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
We're
fine with that.
split. Next, Mike Frederick asks, Who commits more uncalled traveling violations, Giannis or Harden?
Listen, I'm not down with the internet habit of calling people cops. Like, oh, you put pineapple on your pizza, you're a cop, or whatever that joke is. Or if like, oh,
Police.
if you point, but
Kill yourself, cop.
but honestly, Mike's kind of a cop when it comes to travels. He hates.
Yeah.
He's just like my dad.
Well, he's a Mavericks fan and he hates James Harden. I think more than anyone.
I would say it is Giannis though.
Giannis gets away with a lot.
Like Harden's
of shit
are hilarious, but Giannis's are every play.
So I think as a general rule, people get more upset about uncalled travels at the end of the dribble than they do the beginning of the dribble.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand the Euro step at all still.
Giannis gets away with a lot of the shuffling on the beginning of moves, but so does LeBron. Everyone does.
Embiid is ridiculous.
I would say LeBron a lot. Like it was really funny in the who was the Nuggets game against Nuggets Heat game.
Right.
With a very close win for the Nuggets. They missed a very obvious traveling call, and then they're like 5 seconds later, we're like, oh, we're just going to call it travel because everyone does it when they start their dribble, and they got it back. That was like an immediate
That was a
call.
big win for the Nuggets, too, because I think that was like a scheduled loss, and they have a really tough schedule right now.
Nuggets are 5-1 on the second night of back-to-backs. So
that's nuts.
They took care of business in South Beach on that. So who gets away with the most? I think you probably look at NBA usage. Or the most possessions, so Russ Westbrook gets away with the most. LeBron James gets away with the second
If
most.
everyone is a sinner,
Right.
then whoever has the ball the most.
I think all the good players are traveling a lot.
Right. Yeah. That was the first when I went to Spain the year the Big Three got together in Miami, and they like basketball there. All I got from any basketball fan was YouTube clips of how NBA players travel.
That is some dad stuff.
They all, I mean, it's to them, it's the purity of the sport and all that stuff. So
FIBA loves calling the travel.
right. So that's
And
a
they
big part of their game.
travel.
Well,
the lane should be a hexagon.
The ball should be weighed in kilograms.
This is a Spanish accent.
I love John's stereotypical derogatory European
That
voice.
sounded like a
This is a Spanish.
like an Italian.
You know,
immigrant.
you've never been to Galicians, Basque country.
So I mean, everyone gets away. I think the ones that bug me the most are probably the Giannis when he starts his dribble. Those actually do bother me a lot.
I mean, and he does it every
he's
time.
already unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then when the refs let him do like an extra switch of the pivot foot to start his momentum towards the basket, those do bug me. Maybe more than James Harden's because Harden doesn't travel.
Harden's are more meme-worthy, but I don't think he does it as much as Giannis.
He does it as much as like a JJ Redick does, or
Sure.
any of these shooters. Because the one thing that really bugs me is an NBA fan more than Harden's step backs, which he gets away with a little bit more, is the guy coming off the screen who catches it, takes 2 steps as he's about to rise and shoot,
and then to side
and then
step.
does not shoot.
Yeah,
dribbles.
And so that's already a travel.
Yeah.
And so then after that he might start pivoting, which is then another travel, or start dribbling. So those bug me more, and that's such an advantage that
Embiid gets the ball, takes 2 steps backward, shuffles his feet, does a shimmy, does a hippie shake,
Crip
dribbles,
walks.
stops dribbling, takes a step to the side, takes another step to the side, does the okey doke, turns it all around. Never gets called, and I'm here for it.
Well, and this is my thing. If you're going to be particular about it, then it's going to slow down play for the league for a significant period of time. It's going to take players a while to adjust.
no one
to it.
wants travels called.
No one does.
They don't.
I don't want my favorite sport to start being officiated.
I'm just waiting for the
properly.
the Sloan Analytics Conference.
Just
for
let my
some,
dad take over the officiating. They'll call the travels.
I have a problem with it at the end of possessions.
He'll call the travels with coded language.
with the Hilty, the Harden step back travel. That to me, if you're making that much space,
Those are still so difficult, even when you watch them in slow mo.
yeah.
To know whether the travels or
Right.
not, because you're like, oh, is that the
Is that
gather?
the pickup?
Has he
Is that
has
the
he
gather?
picked the
Yeah.
ball up?
I think the Harden travel, he was actually slipping and falling.
One of the most famous travels for people who love NBA blooper highlights is like there's a Corey Brewer fast break dunk where he takes about 13 steps. But even then, it's hard to tell when he finally picks the ball up because you could take infinity steps in between dribbles.
Right.
And so if the ball has left his hand and then it's coming back up to him, if he takes 13 steps and actually doesn't dribble again, it looks like he took 13 steps. Be like,
Right.
but did the dribble actually end until, when did the dribble actually end? So most of those hard
You
ones.
know who never traveled? white players.
Bob Pettit. Who's that? George Mikan
Pistol
never
Pete
lifted
Maravich.
the pivot foot.
No, I mean, yeah, I remember.
Mehmet Okur never even pivoted.
You know what?
Dad, he's not white. Shut up.
So one of the things I'm looking forward to about coaching, about teaching my son, who's 4 now, about basketball, is how to travel
properly.
Is your son tall for his age?
Yeah, for a 4-year-old, sure.
That's awesome.
No, so one
Chuck's son is a giant.
One of my biggest limiting factors is in basketball was, like obviously ball handling or whatever, but just being very, very deliberate about like right foot, left foot, shoot. Not you got to gather, then take 2.
Right.
The kids who were like scoring 40 points a game in 7th grade,
Right.
it's because they figured out, you take a gather and then 1-2 steps, and like guarding him, you're like, this guy's unstoppable. Like it's all about that extra the gather.
My dad would just sit me down. Don't ever be a glory boy. Never pivot.
Really?
Shoot set shots. Never shoot a 3-pointer. Never dunk.
My dad didn't understand the game of basketball when old Peter. He the only game they had in Ireland
some
like
footy?
that, they had netball, which is
Netball. Wow.
You should look that game up. It's like basketball except no backboard and you can't
Your
dribble.
dad is
I've seen that
420
in the
years old.
Olympics.
Yeah.
That's the one I asked Brendan Wright about joining a team for
Real?
for like Beijing 2020. I can't keep track of my Olympics. Has Beijing already happened or is that coming up?
We talk about basketball moves a lot, unstoppable moves. We talk about Luka Doncic's step back lately. We talk about Jordan's fadeaway. My dad has literally the most unstoppable move of all time, because if you guarded my dad too closely, he would take the lit cigarette out of his mouth and burn you with it. And I am not kidding. And then he would put that cigarette back in his mouth and drain that 19-footer that we call
like
a
to see
three-pointer.
Steven Adams stop that.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, those were a couple of listener-submitted questions from our Patreon supporters. If you want to have your own question answered on air, you got to become a Patreon supporter by going to patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. You can also join us with the Pickle Pick'em, the monthly contest where we pick NBA games against the spread for a monthly prize. You can play in such fantasy leagues like the iShop League for Negative Fantasy, Pride and Glory over at fantrax.com. You could join the Slack for $3 a month. Also, we've been experimenting and we're working some stuff out towards our eventual future goal of making this a video podcast, perhaps every time video.
It already is. We did a couple already.
There are a few of Chuck and John.
One inaudible, completely trash.
We're getting there, folks.
We're old men who don't understand
So
technology. And we just messed it up. Oh, the last one we did was hilarious because I had lost my MacBook charger in Vegas. Like my phone, I lost my phone in Vegas as well.
You also lost
Chuck
your
always leans into the skid.
So
His public persona.
no, dude, this is drunken wushu. Everybody thinks I'm a fool. I like it like that. It gives me all the leeway.
Mission accomplished.
Yes, I've accomplished it.
So when Chuck successfully chaperones like the Grizzlies,
Right.
trips,
Everybody's
have
like,
they been-
wow.
Everyone's like, wow, man.
I'm like, Chuck started a food truck. That's amazing. I didn't think he could tie his shoes. So, we started the last ground, Chuck, and I didn't have a charger, but my MacBook had 50%. So we had to finish recording before my laptop.
This is why Chuck and I are a good team, because Chuck was actually very worried, and I was like, no, it's fine.
You got 50%?
It's like I was just like, it gives us a natural clock.
And then we ended, and he was right, we ended the podcast with 23%.
Swish.
Jumpman.
Jumpman.
Yeah. So if you want to get involved with all that, you can support the show at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. All right, steak and eggs, best thing. What's the best thing you saw in the last week?
Do you remember when James Harden got hit in the head with a basketball?
That was pretty good. On Wednesday night.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
so that was great. But what was going on around that play was even more hilarious. The Bucks announcers, because I watched replay and whatever, the Bucks announcers were talking about how Budenholzer was just scheming up ways to stop Harden. 2 seconds later, Harden gets beamed in the head.
Right in the beardo.
Right. And, that's a little bit multiple levels smart. We got Giannis and his one real MVP, kind of challenger.
The MVP thing for Harden has heated up since we
That
poo-pooed
might be what decides the MVP.
Is that play?
Because that clip will be coming back up like, oh, Harden's had a great thing, but look at this one. Like, one, it is important, honestly, when you're grasping onto those narrative straws. The Bucks and Rockets only play twice. So now we got a Bucks win and
Head
an
injury.
iconic Giannis went off the heezy.
Yeah. So and
like he kept the ball. He beamed him in the face,
I'm not
got the ball back.
I'm not saying he did it on purpose,
It was a weird play.
but maybe
That decided the MVP.
maybe that game he was the Greek sneak.
Oh, Harden was fired up that game too. He was jawing at the bench and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a bad look because he was talking all that smack and then got beaned right in the beardo.
Here's my big take on the Harden hate. Because people, it's popular to hate him,
Real popular.
and Russell Westbrook.
This is going to be a very Harden intensive segment. I can tell you.
So, and this is what blows my mind. If you told me as a kid that professional NBA writers would break down a man who averaged a triple double in back-to-back years and hadn't been done forever, and a man who led the league in points and assists, and said that they just aren't good, or have so many flaws in their game that they aren't what they deserve to be accoladed as, I would have told you those writers are stupid. And it's just we've gone too far into analyzing. We're missing the forest for the trees.
It's just the ringer. Don't worry.
No, Zach Lowe's dogging Russ
He's
Westbrook.
still
He
the
went
ringer
into
to me.
He's putting all these. It's
to
just
be
like,
fair, Westbrook's having a terrible offensive season, but
he's
he's
averaging a triple double.
He's having a terrible
shooting
season.
Everything else is very good.
He's deferring more, like we've always asked him to.
We wanted
His
him
points
to.
per game are way down.
The narrative for him, and I said it on an episode before, it's always been silly to me. He's never been anything but a guy who aggressively wants to win. And that came out when he was with KD. He took too many shots. He probably shouldn't have, but who cares? He's, to me.
What would have happened to Kobe with these guys having taken the power of the internet?
Oh, man.
I don't know.
Jordan? We had that discussion. What would Jordan be in modern Twitter NBA world?
I think Jordan would be pretty safe. I think Kobe might have gotten annihilated.
People would be screenshotting his DMs, and he'd be
I didn't think about that.
He'd get suspended for the stuff he says in DMs.
Yeah, you're right. He would be excommunicated from life.
He'd be a pariah.
I'm so wrong. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking straight. I forgot about that aspect. I was thinking purely of his game.
Right.
You know how like Joel Embiid and you know how Kevin Durant is like in people's Instagram comments,
right?
Like
Yeah.
16-year-olds, Michael Jordan would be like,
Michael Dick Pick Jordan.
Like Michael Jordan threatened to swat me on my Xbox while we were playing.
Michael Jordan swatted Stacey King after a particularly contentious practice today.
But like a guy like that who cares so much about winning, Jordan, I think Durant has the same kind of like attachment to winning.
Westbrook, yeah. No, I see what you mean.
So like it's to me the kind of the silly thing that we break these players down because we just have too much information. I loved basketball when I watched 2 games a week, NBA inside stuff, and that's it.
Right.
And I got all my information, and I could talk to my friends for hours about basketball. And I had some, tops cards.
You're saying
you and Ahmad Rashad
and Storm Phillips? No, was he
Stormy?
What was her name? Hannah Storm.
Hannah Storm. That's the one you're looking for.
The one who slept with Trump?
Stormy Daniels. Is what,
Stormy Daniels.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
My best thing, I'm a veer. Actually, not basketball related.
What?
It's not even a great story.
A bottle of whiskey in front of Keith is empty.
This cracked me up. I took my car in. I took my Corolla into the dealer.
Patch him up.
Because once again, my Toyota Corolla is having a recall. Many recalls on the 2009 Corolla. This one for an explosive airbag, which might kill or maim you with heated fragments.
Great.
So I brought it in, and much like you pay for convenience. I'm now to the point in my life like, no, I won't wait for the shuttle to take me home. I'm going to pay $9 for this Lyft to take me home right now.
Damn.
The Lyft driver, however, this is just a personal treat that longtime listeners I think will enjoy. He was like a 70-year-old man.
Yeah.
I think from my hometown, John. I think he was from Franklin.
Yeah, Social Security has failed us.
Yeah, well, no. This is his retirement job. But he was not destitute. He seemed like a pretty well-off, middle-class, 70-year-old man with a deep Southern accent, a deep Southern Tennessee accent. And he was talking about the GPS app, and he was saying stuff like, I just don't know why. It's like, I don't know why it won't stay in this view if I put it in this view.
It's Robert Sarver?
Right, that's my one Southern accent. No, but he was like, I feel like if I thought of something that the tech bros should have already thought of it. I'm like, oh, you're right there. That's pretty good. But then he goes on to we start talking about Comcast cable, and then on the ride home, he regales me with stories of negotiating a lower cable rate by playing AT&T and Comcast against each other. I texted my wife, like, I am in the greatest car ride of my life.
Have you?
This is like 70-year-old me mixed with like my childhood friends. And it just made me feel warm all over. He was just telling me customer service stories in a warm Tennessee Southern accent, and about how this customer service wasn't quite right. This customer service, they took care of him, and he played them against each other for a better rate. I never felt older, but it was like a warm cocoon of happiness. That was the best thing that happened to me this week.
It's like Yojimbo. It's like the man with no name playing the whole town against each other. I have figured out what James Harden is.
Oh, what's that? More Harden?
So it's so hard to categorize James Harden's game, and like, he's very unique, right? Or we thought he was very unique. But James Harden is every point guard, every sniping point guard when you used to play Bulls versus Blazers or NBA Jam. Because remember, you would get guys like Dale Ellis and Terry Porter. Even when you were a kid, you knew that 3 points cost more than 2 points.
Right.
And you get like 50 points
Early
a game
analytics.
shooting 3-pointers. Like Terry Porter and Danny Ainge were unstoppable. And we finally have players like Steph Curry and James Harden who are those early 90s video game
players that you would just cross half court, fire it up, and if you were on fire, you'd make it.
I just think it's amazing that our 12 and 13-year-old selves figured out modern NBA basketball, or what basketball would be before
the Sloan Conference existed.
You didn't need all that stuff. We didn't need Zach Lowe to tell us. You needed someone, I don't know, some porky little Chuck Anderson or John Burr, age 12, playing Bulls Blazers, scoring 50 points a game with Terry Porter shooting nothing but threes.
Yeah,
to figure out the modern NBA.
Scott Skiles.
And Scott Skiles in NBA Jam.
Why would you pick the Magic? You couldn't get Shaquille O'Neal. Here's why. Scott Skiles didn't miss.
We figured out
the corner three.
That you shoot a three or you dunk it.
Here's
way before anybody else did. Ernie Grunfeld didn't figure this out.
That is genius.
I exclusively shot corner threes in NBA Jam because I was just like, try to get to the corner because I knew I could.
Dude.
I wouldn't shoot a long two. I didn't want to shoot a long two.
That NBA Jam is the original Moreyball.
Yeah.
That's amazing because it really was. Like
I
mean, guys, we are taking it to the hole, and we are taking it to the hole, and we're getting dunks. And if we can't get dunks, we're shooting threes. But we're going to try to get on fire to dunks, and then it's all 3 points.
Yeah, you picked your team. You picked your team. You said, all right, who's got a point guard with a 93-point rating? All right, I'll take him. And then NBA Jam, you're like, I want to do the best dunks, or I want to kick it out and swish that three every time.
Mark Price. I thought the thing was always, I need a guard. My go-to move was the steal. That was my best thing, even when I was playing.
3 and D.
No, I just
push 3 and D.
Like, just get a guard who has like a 6 or 7 and 3 and a 9 or 10 in steal. So when we're on fire, we can do it. Like Gary Payton, Sean Kemp. So many steals, so many alley-oops.
Because it doesn't matter if you can shoot if you're on fire. If you steal the ball and dunk, then eventually every shooter is a 3-point shooter.
I also like how like early NBA Live or whatever, or even before that,
Bulls
Blazers, where you're just like, oh, I just want any dribbler who can shoot a 3.
Yes,
that's far superior to anything else.
I averaged 50 points a season with Dale Ellis. 50 points a game per season. Just shooting threes.
So I try to play NBA 2K at my sister's house at Christmas.
It's a bit much.
So I have a niece who's pretty good at basketball. She's 14. She's on the varsity, basketball team. She's got a good jumper. She beat the brakes off of me, and it was both our first time playing the game.
Yeah,
she beat me by like 38 points.
I bet you were mad.
I couldn't work the controller. Had no idea what happens with that
Have
game.
you played a next-gen console? Was that the controller? Was just too much for you?
It was like Xbox. The
okay,
newest
but you are
Xbox.
familiar with like the dual
No.
joy. Oh, you're not.
No.
Okay,
I haven't
yeah,
played
yeah.
I haven't played a 2K game since.
So that'd be really hard.
Maybe PlayStation 2 or like a basketball game like that since PlayStation 2.
We're gonna have to train you up, Chuck.
Or PlayStation 2.
I'll train you up.
I have a PlayStation 3. What should I do with it?
Sell it for $12.
That's how much I'll get. Use it as a Blu-ray player?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. Why not? All right. Well, those are our best things. The opposite of our best thing, the cream of wheat. Worst thing. What's the worst thing you saw?
Well, it's Grizzlies time, isn't it? So I am at the breaking point with the Grizzlies, where it's the joy I get from watching J. Jonah Jameson play basketball isn't enough. I have never not watched Grizzlies games live until I'm there now. I now record them and I watch
interesting.
whatever nightmarish result is incurred. I'm glad that we beat the Spurs. I'm sad that it took Mark's brother, pulling his nuts early in the game to wake him up out of his funk.
I didn't even know Pal Gasol was back. Honestly,
Oh, you missed the Pal Joakim Noah duel.
No. So I missed some of the first half, and at halftime I was backing up on the DVR to be like, what did I miss? And I saw Joakim Noah block Pal Gasol's shot. I'm like, no, I didn't see anyone on Twitter talking about like Gasol and Noah going head to head.
The texts I was receiving during that game were like, this is just depressing that these players are on the court.
What? No joke. When I turned on the TV, Quincy Pondexter was guarding Jaren Jackson Jr. And I was like, how are we not up by 38?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Could they possibly be tanking?
The Grizzlies?
No.
On purpose?
Well, so
No.
honestly,
Chuck.
the Spurs win cut, which would have been almost a funeral episode. Yeah. The Grizzlies spiraling out of control, not knowing what's going on, and then losing Dillon Brooks for the season.
It's so dark.
I was honestly, the Spurs game, a very bright spot for the only person in the world who thought Shelvin Mack should be the backup point guard, which was me. Mm-hmm. Even Javon Carter, everyone's like, whatever, backup QB syndrome. Let's play the rookie. I'm still like, I think he's terrible, guys. Like, he's really bad.
Well, I don't think
they were harnessing him with Joakim Noah all the time, and I don't think you can play those two guys on the same court at the same time.
And the thing about Javon Carter is like, your opinion that he sucks isn't that outlandish just because he's a rookie. Like,
he's a rookie.
Yeah,
so
he's gonna be bad.
Like, to people who are like, play him, this wasn't a lotto pick.
No.
This was a guy who like didn't really exhibit NBA skills in college. He's like a Tony Allen wannabe type guy. Yeah. He's going to take a while to develop. So I really don't understand it. But I mean, Bickerstaff still plays all the wrong guys at all the wrong time.
I blame you, Keith.
Which
you
one?
created the Devon Carter hype machine when his first game happened, and you tweeted all that stuff.
Wasn't me. I tweet everything. I tweet everything.
You're gonna false this kid.
Keith has an infallible approach to Twitter.
He really does.
Just flood the market.
And
flood the market with every damn opinion there is.
And no curse
I honestly don't. I only tweet like 3 times a day.
Yeah, you're not bad.
Where like HP basketball, where it's like, you've tweeted 6 million times? Like, how do you have 6 million tweets? That's crazy.
Is that real?
I don't know.
I believe you.
No, but, I mean, Shelvin Mack has been terrible for the Grizzlies.
The worst.
But my thinking was, he's an offensive point guard. I believe you could teach him to stop screwing up on defense before you could teach Javon Carter to contribute on the offensive end. I don't
really? I don't know. Shelvin Mack's inability to go anywhere near the other team's best 3-point shooter ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
But that's because he was playing too many minutes. I thought my opinion was, for the Grizzlies, play Shelvin Mack 14 to 18 minutes as just a backup point guard, and don't have him do any other weird stuff where he's freelancing. But I went at people. Shelvin Mack has a hive already. If he was on a real team, it would be crazy, like the Lakers or the Knicks or something. Because I just posted, guys, Shelvin Mack is 3 for his last 28 shots, and they're awful when he plays, and just people were so angry. They were so angry. They were like, "Look at this."
Let me spell it out. Shelvin Mack, in his short tenure, is one of the top 5 worst Grizzlies I have ever seen, and I've been watching this team since Hubie Brown and Stromile Swift. And if you don't recognize that, you're just a weird person.
But his last name is Mack.
I mean, you can go,
if he wasn't on fire for 3 or 4 weeks, the Grizzlies would be 8-32.
I just can't wait for him to get injured, and then he comes back from injury, and then they play return.
I think we can all agree, John. We just want to see less double big in the second unit. You can't have JaMychal and Joakim Noah playing together. You got to stagger the 4 best players somehow.
I mean,
you can't have them all off the court. You can't have Slow-Mo, Mike, Mark, and Jaren Jackson Jr. all off the court. That's kind of crazy. I don't know.
I love the Grizzlies starting lineup.
Yeah,
and then it just goes to hell.
Well, that's because they're taking them all 5 off the court.
Yeah, they do.
You can't
Bickerstaff does line changes.
You can't do line changes with this team.
Yeah, there isn't. The Grizzlies don't even have a second unit.
But so now I feel
the Dillon Brooks injury could be catastrophic.
It could be catastrophic, but I think as long as they shorten the rotation, get Omri constantly involved, get Justin Holiday more minutes, it might be able to work out, but they're still a mess. The Spurs game again, Marc Gasol went back to his pre-ankle injury ways, where he looked awesome. It's gonna be a testy season with lots of theorizing. Should they enter the tank race? But we got to get out of Grizzlies.
Speaking of testes, Nick Young,
Nicholas Batum.
This could be my worst. Are we on worsts?
Yeah, we are.
It's not my worst. This happened. Nick Young is under investigation by police for assaulting a fan and punching him in the testicles.
Oh, no.
Yes. In Los Angeles, somebody was trying to take a picture of him. He ripped the phone out of the guy's hand and then apparently kicked him in his nuts.
Kicked him or punched him? Important distinction.
The AP report, I don't think...
It's either Chris Paul or Dennis Rodman.
It just says strike? What does strike mean?
Struck the nuts.
Assault?
Struck nuts.
Nard tap. Wolfman's got nards.
But yeah, is he on the Nuggets still, Nick Young?
No, he got
waived.
Well, he was there while they had an injury exception.
Right.
So
Nick Young's on the Instagram.
Right. So that's twice this year. Nick Young has ruined the Nuggets.
Oh,
of someone. Was that joke already made on? Somebody did that on Twitter, probably.
Could have been.
They're all out there, baby.
Since my new iPhone, I can't log on to Twitter from my Twitter account. I don't know how.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So you haven't heard about birds?
So
Keith, I'm going to start. I'm going to start tweeting from.
Works.
I'm going to start tweeting from Mars now. All the awful things that I do.
My worst thing is with the firing of Tom Thibodeau and the hiring of Ryan Saunders. There are now 2 NBA coaches younger than I am.
That's weird.
It's not enough that now there's only like a handful of NBA players. There's like 2 NBA players older than me. But now there's 2 coaches younger than me?
Yeah.
Full-blown depression.
Well, Ryan Saunders is 32. He just got that job because his dad died.
It's just,
I mean, I'm sure they wanted to, make.
There's the weird. Everyone's saying like, oh, he's been a hot assistant. He's been in talks for a head coaching job.
He's only been in Minnesota.
It was sooner or later it was going to happen. You're like, but it's obviously nepotism.
Yeah, his dad.
Jimmy Bickerstaff would not be in the NBA if his last name wasn't Bickerstaff.
Exactly.
I don't know. He's got the smarts. He's got the. I was talking about Tom Thibodeau's old pictures.
Oh man, him with the mullet.
So
boy.
handsome.
Can we need to post and get this picture of young Tom Thibodeau out there?
People know
might tattoo it on my body.
You should tattoo it.
Good.
Dave DeFore asked me, is Tom Thibodeau getting back in the NBA? Do you guys think he'll show up as an assistant coach somewhere?
Yeah,
sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
All right.
And who knows?
You guys love it, yeah.
Somebody might give him a GM head coach role somewhere.
Mike Brown just showing up all over the place.
Yeah. That always confuses me when they don't. Like when
Mike Brown was a disgrace.
Yeah. When where the hell is David Blatt? Remember he was supposed to
He's
save
coaching
Maccabi game.
I think Rick Pitino right now is coaching Nick Calais.
Oh yeah. Is he?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is
That's
Rick
some weird
Pitino is he under extradition or something? Like he has to is he legally living in Greece?
He's living in shame after it was publicly said in court that a sex act with him lasts 20 seconds.
Right. Did he break any laws or was it just he's not embroiled within the FBI stuff.
Uncouth.
I have been as close to him as I am to you now, and I could see things happening under his skin like some sort of X-Files villain.
Oh, he's a reptilian.
Like, it was horrifying.
He's El Chupacabra.
He was Vincent D'Onofrio in the Men in Black movies.
Oh, that's so good.
Like, I don't know what's going on.
That's perfect. Let's move now to the awards segment of the program, the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award, which is given each week to the worst performance in a box score. This week, we only have a few honorable mentions. Andre Drummond, Colin Sexton, Tim Hardaway Jr., 2 for 12. By the way, I'm still all in on Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Grizzlies. Well, so everything's heating up. All these trades are heating up. The Grizzlies making the trade for Justin Holiday kind of like started off, I feel like the trade season, and everyone's talking about how the Knicks are going to get rid of Courtney Lee and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Ooh.
And then working some things out. I feel like people are on board.
We're probably more likely to bring back Courtney Lee.
I feel like people,
love to see C. Lee.
I threw this trade out, and people are actually really on board, unlike all the other trades I ever throw out.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks and Courtney Lee this is a 4-way. The broad
Human centipede, got it.
The broad strokes are the Wizards get rid of Otto Porter. They send Otto Porter to the Kings.
Can we have him?
Because the Kings are saying they want a small forward. It's been leaked they're interested in Otto Porter. And they also have cap space. The Kings then send a bunch of Flotsam and Jetsam. They get rid of Zebo. They get rid of Costa Kufos.
You know we're getting back Zebo.
So and forth. Yeah.
We have a big hole at power
Zebo
forward.
gets bought out. But anyway, the Kings get Otto Porter. They send 2 second-round picks to the Wizards. The Grizzlies accept Tim Hardaway Jr. for the Knicks for 1 second-round draft pick from the Knicks. The Knicks unload. They send 2 picks, 1 to the Grizzlies, 1 to the Wizards. The long and short of it is the Wizards get 3 second-round picks. The Grizzlies get Tim Hardaway Jr. The Knicks just get expiring deals in JaMychal Green, Zebo, Shumpert. And then the Wizards take on Courtney Lee for next year. It's a muddled thing, but it's like everyone's like, yeah, why not?
I think
We'll
the
do
Knicks Knicks should get Zebo and JaMychal Green so that Fizdale can declare JaMychal Green the starter.
Yes.
And then play Zebo the entire time.
Exactly true. Exactly true. That's what should happen. Anyway, Tim Hardaway Jr. was an honorable mention this week in his iShop. And then also Steph Curry, a surprise honorable mention, 5 for 19. All right.
There's a 4 for 20 out there, boys and girls.
We only have 2.
Okay. Cool.
Then I don't have to pay attention.
2 nominees.
There's a 4 for 20.
This is important because we already know which way Chuck is going.
I'm already in.
All right.
I'm legally required.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Shut it down. Let's go home.
In a loss to the Celtics was 0 for 10 with no points, 2 rebounds, a turnover, 3 personal fouls, the worst game score in the NBA this season. Also, Chuck's vote, Kyle Kuzma Daddy. In a win.
Who bounced back the
Yeah,
very
next night gets 41.
He went full Allen Houston with 41 points and no assists. Woo! Kyle Kuzma was 4 for 20, 13 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. We know Chuck is voting Kyle Kuzma 4 for 20.
Blaze it.
Give me that Dirk box again.
0 for 10, no
Jesus.
points, 2 rebounds, 1 turnover.
Here's
3 personal
why
fouls.
I watched that Boston Dallas game.
No,
I
you're
know,
honorable.
I know.
Your honor. This is inadmissible.
I know. This is
strike it from the record.
I'm only.
You can't. Once the jury hears this, it's prejudicial.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you tell.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Once it's in.
Once the entire courtroom is out of
All
order.
right. So John, what do you say?
Dirk it. Shut it down. Let's go home. 0 for 10.
Volume.
So
First of all, volume. Bones told us when he was on, high shot counts matter more in this.
But
in
4
this
for
award.
20, I guess 0 for 10.
Good point.
He went 4 for his next 10. He's heating up.
You're right.
He's heating up. I'm going to go, Chuck, with Dirk Nowitzki. The 420 is the loser.
Okay. So let me tell you
It's
why
okay. Chuck stayed on Brown.
I'm making a Jeff Sessions vote. I'm saying no 420.
He's trying to hurt you.
Dirk Nowitzki.
This is personal.
Although Chuck did take his sunglasses off, so I should be nice to him.
The lowest game score of the year is.
Well, here's the thing.
That's not pretty.
First of all, they. Dirk Nowitzki is a mummy at this point.
Yeah,
his knees don't bend past like 87-degree angle.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
He cannot run. He cannot play a lick of defense.
I'm changing my vote to 420.
So, but let me tell you why. And it was a beautiful moment of that game.
The vote's already been counted.
I know the game's over. The Celtics fans cheered Dirk like he was Larry Bird.
He's white.
They were.
He's a white person.
This is the point I was making. I was like, man, it's really cool of them. I wonder if they're going to do that to Dwayne Wade. Probably not.
No, he's black, man.
He broke Rondo's arm too, but like other than that,
Well, that is the extra to Dirk's box score. They were feeding him the ball like an all-star game.
They were like trying to get him a shot. Yeah, it wasn't like it was in the rhythm of the game.
I'm gonna go look this game up.
I mean, it was kind of incredible. They were like the fans were blowing up.
It was Dirk's last visit to the
He
Garden.
literally took.
And
They
Dirk's-
were down by 20. He took a last second buzzer beater 3
That's
and
outstanding.
everyone
And
wanted to
missed
shoot
that thing.
and clanked it.
And he never made it, but he did, however, win an iShop award. Congratulations.
Good
Dirk
job,
Nowitzki.
Dirk.
All right.
He's never going to take any more shots again. He should be on the court.
Always liked that Nowitzki.
He's so
I played the right way.
he don't travel.
lunch pail.
Yeah,
lunch pail.
Can
kinda
we
guy.
trade Al Horford for Steven Adams?
None of that fast break showtime.
I apologize to Liam for the last 3 minutes.
He'll survive.
all Liams. Par fadeaway.
Neeson.
What things are we looking forward to in the upcoming weeks?
So it's not in the upcoming week. So I'm looking at the playoffs.
It could be any time.
It could be in the
Chuck.
future. This guy Cooper Moorhead, you know the dude.
I
on
do not.
Twitter?
Two names I enjoy: Cupper and Moorhead.
So he tweeted something like a week or so ago after the Bucks lost to the Heat, and Giannis had 9 points.
Yeah.
The Heat, over the past 4 years, have been the only team to hold the Bucks under a game score of 90. Let me tell you something: the Bucks want no smoke with Miami in the playoffs because that whole team is built around Pat Riley's engineering of stopping a squad with one undeniably athletic superstar. And they built the roster around it. They have a bunch of 6'5" to 6'8" players who can switch and who can rotate and who can stay in front of somebody. They are an elite defense. And yeah, I think they can really, really give.
They're
'cause
also,
The
they're
Heat
also-
better get another ball handler besides Justice Winslow.
well,
if
they're
beat
well
anyone.
once they trade for Jimmy Butler, it'll be
Jimmy Butler's coming.
be fine.
And yeah. And Michael Carter Williams.
That's almost my par fadeaway is Michael Carter Williams. Where'd he go now?
He's in Chicago
They
again?
signed
Chuck,
him.
who he play for?
Oh, the Bulls just did
I
a
don't
favor to get some more cash.
Probably,
They
yeah,
got they helped what's that guy's Nelson Furtado? Nelson, the owner of the Rockets who doesn't pay luxury tax
Jimmy
anymore.
Quiche night.
They helped him out by taking Michael Carter Williams. The Bulls did. I'm looking forward to
I miss
some
the days
of
when I thought he was going to
trades.
be the new Trevor Ariza. I'm so good at this. So good at
There's
this.
got to be some trades coming. There's going to be big trades. I'm excited.
Not Kevin Love.
Also, go ahead and put on your calendar for our Grizzlies watch party back at the Mainstay on Monday, January 28th for
Monday, I can go to this one.
Jokic
Oh,
and the
Jokic.
Nuggets.
Oh,
A nice
Jokic,
game.
by the way.
I'm going to cosplay with a flat top.
So-
Jokic flat top.
Do you remember last week how you pontificated, John, about
No.
Jokic's skill set in that body? He is quoted this week as saying, "I am a point guard trapped in a center's body." And I think he listened to our podcast and he heard you, and it just inspired
Did he
him.
say an unathletic center's body? Because that would have been a funnier quote.
He said, I'm a point guard trapped in a center's body.
that eats-
No.
Can't say that, Nikola.
We got to bleep that out, I think.
Also, Nikola Jokic is just the third center in NBA history with 20 triple doubles.
Jeez.
Behind Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So
That's
there you are. What I'm
crazy.
saying is he's one of the 3 best players ever.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
And a white person.
And he's white.
And if he ever gets traded to LA, he might even get considered for an MVP.
yeah, he might even make an All-Star game
He might
if he got traded.
get all NBA.
I don't know. Luka Doncic kind of has all the white guy votes right now.
Oh
can't
man, and the European
Can't really get
swag.
any more white guy votes. He has them all. Is he going to get the most votes?
He might.
Who?
He might
Luka
start.
Doncic?
Him or Derrick Rose, yeah.
Yeah. That's so weird.
It's so weird.
Shout out to Derrick Rose PR people for putting a child with leukemia next to him so he could tell him how life is bad sometimes.
He probably told that kid to kill himself.
Not good.
John, you're killing
John,
it right now.
John, you got a parfait away so I can stop the show.
No, I don't really. I'm just going to keep watching the Grizzlies torture my face off.
That sounds perfect. Good
I'm going to enjoy watching the ever malleable, ever shifting, bizarre MVP race. That's not really an MVP race.
Yeah, it's not. It's over.
what-
Giannis doinked that ball off his face.
Yeah.
He concussed his only competition. He's gonna what? I bet you Harden's gonna
Steph
have
Curry's going to come back and get in the
three
mix.
bad games, and then everybody's gonna forget about him because no one has a memory longer than 20 minutes.
Valid.
In NBA,
Birds aren't real.
Intelligista.
Birds aren't real unless they're terrorizing Sandra Bullock.
All right. Well, if you want to support our show, you do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. Also, I have a long story to tell you about SeatGeek. You buy tickets there.
Yeah.
Use our code. You get $20 off. SeatGeek.com, FastBreakBreak, same as the Twitter handle. FastBreakBreak gets you $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
Stick with it longer than me. You will figure it out. I'm just
we are too old to figure out video podcasts.
I'm impulsive, and I just don't want to finish things.
You don't want to go to a sporting event with Chuck anyway. He spends the whole time in the bathroom.
And he leaves early.
And then I'll lose my phone there.
Yep. All right. So SeatGeek.com, use our code FastBreakBreak. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at FastBreakBreak. All right. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fast break, man. You understand?
SeatGeek saves you time and saves you money. Two of the more important commodities in our lives these days. They aggregate ticket selling sites together, so you don't have to go to 8 sites and then, I'm going to look at the 9th one now because I'm not quite sure. I was totally that way, of course. And then they also rank every ticket based on value. So you look at the section you want to sit in, find that big green dot, the darker green, the better. You'll start to experience just endorphins when you see that green dot and know that you're getting an awesome deal on the ticket. I use SeatGeek to go to a Bucks Wizards game. Got awesome seats there for my fiance and me. So the way to get started with them, download the SeatGeek app and enter that familiar promo code
FastBreakBreak.
by using that code to get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. That's promo code
FastBreakBreak.
for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Let them know that you came from us.
FastBreakBreak. John is an asshole. FastBreakBreak.